Welcome back, race fans, to Off the Track podcast, where you get the dirt. I'm Levi Gotzi, and we are here at Blue Chip Technologies Racing Engines. We are a high-performance race engine shop located right here in Heltonville, Indiana, and today we have joining us on the show Logan and Aubrey Mounce. Welcome, guys.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for coming out today and joining us on the show. We've been excited to know that you guys were both going to be able to make it out today, and I just wanted to kind of get your guys' full story on how you both got started. And I know, Aubrey, your father raced as you were a child, and
Yep.
Logan, same deal. Your dad, he wheeled back in the day, and your grandfather, he was a big legend, and now he's not with us anymore, but he is in the Hall of Fame, and everyone knows how great of a driver he was.
Yeah.
And you both come from a very strong background of racing, and for you guys to have met along the lines of this sport and to be able to get married last year.
Worked out pretty well.
It's pretty awesome.
For sure.
So there's not too many combinations like this,
No.
No,
at least not that I can think of.
No.
So,
sure.
when, at what age did you actually get behind the wheel, Logan?
It was actually, I was 16.
16.
Yep. And so what led up to that was I played sports. My dad tried to push me away from racing,
Yeah.
and ended up having a career-ending knee injury playing football. And I think he got the doctor bills and
Yeah.
decided that racing might be a little cheaper.
sadly.
Yeah. Well, so at 16, you jumped into the Hornet division. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We had a little Pontiac Sunfire. It was
Okay.
nothing special, but
Right.
it was just pretty cool that he was giving me a chance to be out on the racetrack. And
Right. And watching your family do it for all those years as a child growing up, I'm sure as soon as you had the opportunity to jump in there and get behind the wheel, you were definitely going to take that opportunity and see what it was all about.
yep, and from the first time, it was just got hooked.
Right.
Mean, which I was like 3 months old when I went to my first race,
Okay.
and my mom and dad, they always talk about setting up my playpen by my dad's car.
Yeah.
And my grandpa would watch me when he was living, and
Yeah.
but yeah, it's pretty nice, and yeah, first time on the racetrack was Aubrey's first time on the racetrack as well.
Is
Yep.
that right?
Yep.
Okay.
We were in the 16 and under class.
Wow.
The
where
little kids.
where was this at? Where was
Thunder Valley.
Thunder Valley.
Yep.
Okay. So at what age were you, Aubrey?
So I was 15.
15.
Yep.
So you guys are a year apart.
Yep.
Nice. That's crazy. So it was a Hornet, is that correct? For some reason, I was thinking at one point you jumped into, what were those
So
called?
I was actually in a mini stock.
Mini stocks,
They,
okay.
What they did was in the 16 and unders, they just threw everyone
Okay.
together.
Yep.
Yep.
Because that was a rear-wheel drive car.
Correct.
And you're
Yep.
in a front-wheel drive car,
Yep.
and you're both out there competing against one
Yep.
another.
Yep. They kept the 4 cylinders together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's really neat.
Yep.
Wish that class was still around. It's
Yeah.
a really good
It kinda
starter
died
class.
off.
It did.
I remember a guy that lived down the road from me. He's passed away now, but he had one, and I'd hear him out there just wide open and
Oh, yeah.
make a noise with it. But yeah, that class seemed to have died off there at some point, and I'm not sure whatever really happened there.
Well, and so that was, of course, my rookie season. And then my second season, we noticed the car count dropping rapidly. And I think that was about the time that Mason Fleetwood was kind of getting away from
it.
track promoting.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Kind of when it died off.
I think
Yeah.
so.
I see.
Because it really wasn't. They raced at Mason. He kept the class going for
Yeah.
sure. It was Salem and North Vernon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Those
he
are
ran
two
both
main-
of them tracks.
Right.
And then they also had a race at Scott County Fair.
Yep.
And Fun Fest used to have them.
Mm-hmm.
And then it got to the point where Fun Fest quit having them, after your first year?
I think.
Because they didn't
maybe,
have them, I don't
yeah.
think they had them your second year
Yeah.
in the mini stock, but
And then they started combining them with the trucks.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That really made for a fun time.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
I remember being up at Paragon one time. I was pretty young, and they had some trucks up there, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really.
That crowd that would run at Thunder Valley, they were stout.
Yeah, they were.
And they were all friends, but
Oh, yeah.
they
Yeah.
would race each other hard.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
They were
for
fun to
sure.
watch.
Yeah. So you guys are both running, at Thunder Valley, 15, 16 years old.
Yep.
So at that point, who was beating who? Who was winning?
Well,
Let's get Logan's take on
Okay,
it.
let's hear it.
in reality,
You were letting her win?
no. I wish I could say that, but we actually, I think we only raced twice together.
Okay.
Which was heat race and feature.
Yeah.
Right?
That was
Okay.
it.
Just that one
Just
night.
that one
Wow.
night, because Dave had just took her right on up to the
Yeah.
class,
That
and
was-
Somebody's phone's ringing. I bet it's mine. It's mine. Sorry, guys.
you're all right. And I just remember,
It's Tony Gotzi.
oh,
I'll have to call him back.
yeah, I just remember. I think her gear shift broke or something.
Okay.
She was on the pole and I was right behind her. And at the time I had no idea that she was a girl.
Mm-hmm.
No idea who it was. And
Right.
we went to take off and her gear shift broke or something because I was just freaking
Oh, okay.
tagging her.
Probably just couldn't get it into
I-
gear.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
probably what
We
it
don't
was.
know. Yeah.
Okay.
Aubrey forgets
Because I
things
did
pretty easily.
end up burning a piston that night.
But, okay.
Just saying.
And,
Go on.
Yeah. So, and I just remember after that race was over with, I got out and told my dad. My dad's laughing at me.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know who's in that 4 car, but they need to go when the green flag's out or something.
Oh my
And he
God.
just
Right.
laughing, shaking his head. And,
Right.
so, yeah, we actually only raced a heat race and a feature together, and I'm sure she was in front of me.
Well,
Yeah.
it was funny because neither one of us made it through the feature. Like,
No.
we both had
Yeah.
mechanical issues.
I ended
that
up
night.
breaking a CV joint,
Okay.
leading the heat race.
Yeah. And I ended up burning a piston
Yep.
during the feature.
So you both had a
So,
rough night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. The fact that you guys were that young and both your fathers doing it. And,
Yep.
I remember Dave racing my dad whenever I was a
Yep.
kid. And, of course, he was a big Ford man.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
So I'll never forget those cars that he had.
Yep.
So it's pretty neat. And so you guys are running around, and then one day you guys both decide to move up a division. So I know, Logan, you've ran several different classes.
yeah.
You went to
I,
crates, supers.
Unfortunately, so ran 1 year of a Hornet, and pretty much I stayed in the 16 and under class until like the last 3 races. There was only like 2 Hornets in the 16 and under class,
Yeah.
and they finally just put us in with
the older guys.
Yep.
Okay.
And so
That's probably when you start learning some stuff then.
yeah, but
These guys are not going to go easy on me.
No, they don't
I'm
go
gonna have
easy.
to go.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you got roughed up, and that's just a bad thing. I guess a Hornet, in my opinion, looking at it now, the only thing, it kind of helps you drive straight,
Yeah.
but like the mini stock class really,
Was a lot more.
because it's
of a-
rear wheel drive, you know what I
Exactly,
mean?
yeah.
So
Get a better foundation.
yeah, it would have
Right.
set me up a lot better for what was coming for me.
Right.
We were working in the garage one day, and my dad was either sink a bunch of money into a Hornet,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Go
keep
racing
going
some
with
more.
that, or-
Right.
and a guy by the name of Ron Pridemore, he used to race on the Northern All-Stars Tour with my dad and Duke. And
Mm-hmm.
he come in the garage one day, and he was like, I got a motor if you can find a car for that boy. Well, it was a super motor.
Yeah.
And my dad had a car sitting there.
Yep.
So we put that together and got fed to the wolves.
Yeah.
And it was quite the learning curve. It's
Right.
For sure.
something that I probably still, it's just kind of, it's hurt me in a way. I still have a lot to improve on for sure. And when I jumped up to the supers, that was when Keithley, it was kind of towards the end of his run at Brownstown.
Mm-hmm.
And they were actually only running us like once a month.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get any laps.
Right.
Yeah.
Hard to get to seat time.
Yes, that I needed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's crucial.
Critical
Right.
time in your
Yes.
in
I mean,
your
I'm
racing
learning.
career.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So we ended up having to go to Florence.
Yeah.
We went to Florence 4 or 5 times that year, and so it was pretty nerve wracking.
Yeah.
Well, about ruined it right off the bat. The first race, I was in my late model career. I rolled it in turns 3 and 4 at Brownstown,
Yeah.
and
At least you got your first flip out of the way.
got it out of the way.
It
Right.
was a pretty good one.
Yeah, it was. It was a pretty good
Nice and
one.
slow though.
Yeah.
It seemed like it lasted about 5 whole minutes.
Yeah.
No injuries.
No injuries. Just
So
a
that's
little
always
sore.
good.
Yeah.
Right.
But then got the car put back together, and we went to Florence, and this was kind of like my first race. And I remember walking up to the draw shack and signed all the paperwork I had to sign.
Mm-hmm.
She drawed my number, and it was a 3. And I remember walking back to the where we were parked. I said, "Dad, I drew a 3." And he started laughing. I said, "Can I just take the tail?"
Yeah.
He's like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, here we go." So then I was like, "Well, I'm gonna go look at the lineup board." And it was Mike Jewell to the outside, Scott James was behind me, and John Gill was beside him.
Oh, wow.
So you know.
And
So it's stacked.
it's stacked. And so, yeah. So I'm sitting there nervous.
Oh, I bet. I can only imagine.
I mean, I've never been so nervous in my life. And
Well, I'm sure you've been a huge John Gill fan.
oh, yeah.
So
I mean,
just being able to even say you
Yeah.
competed against John
Exactly,
Gill
yeah.
is huge.
exactly. Being on
So-
the racetrack at the same time. And,
Yeah.
And Mike
you got a
Jewell
lot
as well.
going through your head right now.
Yes.
Right.
And I remember we got the one to go, and I'm sitting there just nervous.
Oh, yeah.
And actually, it was probably my dad said it's probably the best start of the race of my life.
Yeah.
I didn't see him for a minute, but when we got into one, I let out the gas way too early, and I went that way, and they went that way,
Yeah.
and that was the end of it. But yeah, it was it was quite the learning curve, jumping from a Hornet to a super late model.
Right.
But,
Well, you've been willing to modify now for what? How many years?
this will
be
be
the third?
this will be the third
Third.
year,
So going into 2020 will make your
Yep.
third season.
third season.
So what's your opinion going from late models to modifieds as far as driving? Do you feel like it's
It's a lot different.
yeah.
It's the whole I guess the lift bar and the pull bar type different suspensions. The lift bar on the late model was real steady and kind of it wasn't as radical on
Yeah.
the traction part. But the pull bar, that's kind of been my nemesis, and the 8-inch wide tires.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to get them modified
Yes, hooking them
hooked up.
Yeah, it's
can be quite a challenge.
yes, quite a challenge.
Right.
But, we're getting there.
Right. So, Aubrey, you go from running the 4-cylinder class and
Yep.
jump straight up to the super stock division.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and that was because that class was dying off.
Yeah. You
my-
knew you had to go somewhere.
Yep. And that second year, my dad made a deal with me. He was like, if you can get a feature win at Thunder Valley, we'll do something different next year. We'll move up.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that win on a Friday night, I think, and we went Saturday to to John Davis's house and bought that Superstar.
There you go. Cool.
So, yep, it worked out pretty
Well, that's
well.
good memories.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure your dad just absolutely was, tickled to death to see you be able to jump in something like a super stock and be
Oh,
able to
yeah.
compete against the guys that are in, that division around here, and you've
For
done a
sure.
remarkable job.
Well, thank you.
Well, I mean, like me competing against you for a few years back, whenever we were playing around with the super stock stuff.
Yep.
I mean, you never made it easy for anybody to position ahead of you.
Yep.
I know my family, my wife and my daughter, it was like I'd have to, look over at them every once in a while like, hey, who we rooting for over here? But
Whose team are we on?
I know that both of them would rather watch you win than me. And, there was nights where that happened. Several of them. But, no, it was always good times. And to be able to run against you, and you're very smooth. And,
Thank you.
And it doesn't matter if the track was hooked up, hammered down, or black and slick. I mean, you always make a black slick track look easy to drive on, and as a fan sitting in the stands, I'm sure a lot of times it looks like it's easy, but you get out there as a driver, you realize how tough it is to keep a car under you, and you've always, honestly, to my knowledge, I've never seen you spin out one time.
Oh, heck. I've
I
had
haven't,
spin-outs for
but
sure.
I know I have, but
Yeah, I have too, and I beat myself up for it.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Well, so you guys are both, racing, and schedules are crazy, and now you guys are married. You got married last year.
Yeah.
Bought a house.
You guys
Built
just had a garage built.
Yep.
Yes.
So now are we keeping the cars at your guys' place? Or
So mine is.
okay.
Yep. Still got the same car and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Logan's.
Mine's a little
doing
more
something a little
complicated.
different this
Yeah.
year,
So, yeah, it's as of right now, it's my dad's last year racing out of his shop.
Okay.
So that is the whole idea of why he bought a brand new race car, and told me that I just need to show up and drive it.
Is that right?
So,
Okay. So Pops is going to take care of the car.
that's what he says.
Nice.
He just wants me to show up on a Saturday night and race it. So,
Well, I tell you what, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes being, involved with the car does me more damage than good. If I had someone that just said get in and drive, when I was younger, I felt like a lot of it is in your head as far as when you get in that seat.
it is, but
And-
it's, you know how it is. I mean, it's going to be, that's like I told him. I mean, we've had our hashing out. I mean, he's stubborn. I get it.
Yeah.
But that's like I told him. I mean, how can I be 100% mentally prepared if I don't see my car? I mean,
And
majority of the week.
100%
Yeah.
I mean,
into it,
I understand.
And then he had the same problem. Well, how am I supposed to be 100%
Right. If
prepared
you got the car at your
if the
house.
car's up here and I can only come up one day a week?
Right.
Because I mean, he has to take care of Mom, and
Right.
so it just makes it easier for him, and I get that.
Yeah.
So we've kind of compromised, and
Well, that's good.
so, but
So I'm assuming we're going diamond.
yeah, it was I didn't expect it to happen as quick as it did.
Yeah.
It was one of them. Ryan had a used car for sale,
Okay.
and Dad wanted to look at it, and I went and I called Ryan. I said, "Hey, my dad's gonna be a little bit later. It might be past hours. Is that okay?" I said, "I can come down there and talk with you."
Yeah.
And after work, so I got off work in Columbus and drove down and met Ryan and talked to him, and he showed me around the shop and everything. And there wasn't no used modifieds around.
Okay.
And he was like, "Well, I actually just sold
Just
that."
sold it.
Yep. And the guy come pick it up the day before.
Is that right?
And so we were looking at the new cars, and Dad showed up, and Ryan gave him a tour and
Yeah.
kind of, what he was all about. And yeah, next thing I know, we're running through some numbers, and Dad said, "Yeah, just go ahead and put me on the list."
Make it happen.
Yep. So here we are. We're excited for it.
Well, I'd say so. I mean, what Ryan's done with those chassis, and everyone that's running
Yes.
them are running up front. And from what I've seen, it really doesn't matter where they're at. I mean, Twin Cities, Brownstown, and
Yep.
and,
And
when
going
they
out.
travel,
Yeah.
they're going out and they're winning some good races. And I know Jacoby Hines, he's running one, and Braden Watson,
Yep.
and the list goes on and on and on.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all top-notch drivers. And the modified division, of course, all divisions have a great list of great drivers in each division, but there's some really tough competition in the modifieds.
For
And,
Yes, there is.
and going back to what we were talking about earlier, you're running on an 8-inch tire, and they're
Yes.
hard to get hooked up.
Yep.
And them guys seem like they've got something figured out.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting for
Yeah.
sure, and just the whole he's excited about too, just because we don't have a homemade chassis now, and just
Well, they'll give you a good starting
Yes,
point,
we
too.
got something
So,
to lean
something
on.
to kind of work off
yes,
of.
and
Base setup,
yep,
and then you guys can work your magic from there.
Right.
And your dad being around the sport as long as he has,
Yeah.
and your uncle,
Oh,
then I'm sure that they ain't going to have any trouble getting you where you need to be.
I hope not.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can figure it out, and
Right.
if not, well, that was the whole
Hey,
idea
you
of
keep
going
working
with
on it,
Ryan.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
So your car is now at your garage
Yep.
or your shop.
Dad's pretty
So
happy about that.
Now
Yep.
he's got plenty
his
of
garage
room.
Oh,
back.
yeah.
That's the
Yep.
first time he's had his shop back in a long time.
Long
Yep.
time. About
'Cause
9 years.
Allie,
Yep.
she's out now.
Yep.
She sold out,
Yep.
so she's no longer racing.
Yep.
So how did that work out for you as far as Allie making the decision that she was going to give it up? Were you impacted by that in any way as far as, seeing your sister out there and kind of following in your footsteps, just a little behind you as far as, she was in the pure stock division, but from what I was watching her, she was a lot like you, real smooth, and I felt like she was really
took to
doing
it
good.
well, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, it seemed like it came pretty natural to her.
Yeah.
For sure. I think she just kind of got burnt out, and she wanted to do something different. And that's okay.
Yeah,
She just
she's
decided,
young,
yep,
and if she ever wanted to get back into it later,
for sure,
it'll be
Yep,
there.
for sure.
I know your dad. If,
And I
if
know
she,
my dad would
if she
step
flipped the
in
switch
and be
on
like,
and said,
"All
"Let's
right,
race,"
let's
then
do it.
Dave
Yeah.
would be like,
For sure.
"I'll make it
All
happen."
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I know
Yep.
where he wants to be every weekend,
Exactly.
and that's
Well,
watching one of you guys go around
yeah.
track.
Yeah, and Allie still goes. She still
Right.
comes and watches me, and Zach's racing too.
Yeah.
So and Logan. So
Right?
she's gonna be there anyways, but she's definitely still a race fan for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
That's
But,
great.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's pretty cool that she could say, I'm not really that into this anymore.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do this anymore.
right.
But
Well, that's
yeah.
good. That the last thing your dad would ever want, or you or your
Yeah.
mom, is for her to be doing it if
If she
she
didn't really-
was having second guesses
yeah,
about it.
exactly. Wasn't 100%
So,
into it. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's really cool that you guys have. Both of you, in my opinion, both of you done a phenomenal job behind the wheel. And being females out on the track, it gives a lot of these little girls and
yeah,
little
for
kids
sure.
someone to look up to.
Yep.
And,
Yes.
that's really neat
Yeah,
because
anyone
there's a
can
lot
do
of
it.
little kids sitting up there
Yep.
in them stands every weekend watching you guys.
Oh,
and
For
yeah.
sure.
so that's
I'm glad.
really neat.
The sport needs it.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely. So you guys, your dad's still a big part in your car.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
Yep.
as far as sponsors on your car, who all do you guys have coming on board for this coming season, 2020?
So I'd like to say that we have all the same sponsors.
That's
for
great.
This year from last year. So we got Circle Stone, Mounce Motorsports, Steve Warren and Bedford Ford, BCNC Machine, Prince Sandblasting. Help me out.
Texacon.
here. Texacon.
Yeah.
A big sponsor.
They do a lot of really cool stuff.
They do.
I've kind of been following them on Facebook now,
Yep.
so
Yep.
I've been seeing some stuff that's pretty cool.
Got-
It's tough to remember them all when you have a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
And you don't have them right in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not standing in victory lane.
Yeah, it's easy to walk
He's
around the
thinking,
car and see
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You got
Well,
Backhole Foundation.
And the Backhole Foundation.
I think
It's a good thing you brought Logan with you.
I know. Tell me about it.
Yeah,
He's good at that stuff.
good at that, and on her car as much as I am mine. So
Yeah.
True.
Right.
He's just as big of a help on mine, for sure.
So, what about you, Logan? Who all you guys going to have helping you this year?
I just got to thank my dad and my mom, especially because in her situation, she let my dad get out of the house and
Right.
go have fun.
Yeah.
Got to thank them, my Uncle Duke.
Yeah.
I gotta thank Duke too.
Yeah, Duke
For
helps
sure.
us. He helps us out a lot.
Yep.
And All-Star Performance.
Yeah.
Got to thank them. Circle Stone. Got to
Right.
thank Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, Mounce Motorsports and BCNC Machine. And that's probably going to be it for us.
Yeah.
We're Aub's been fortunate. She's got her sponsors rolled over, but we didn't really seek out potential new ones because our schedule's going to be very light this year.
Okay.
So
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Lighter than it has been.
Lighter than it has
We'll say
been.
that.
probably 10 to 12 races.
Is
so,
about what you're shooting for?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what we're shooting for.
Definitely not points racing this year.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
no.
Well,
we got
I
other
can't blame you.
stuff going
It gets
on.
complicated.
It does, for sure.
It really
You know,
does. Yeah,
sure.
it does.
You got plenty going
you want to
on.
do it, and then
Yes.
Exactly.
you
Yep.
miss that one race, or you have that one bad night, and
For
then
sure.
it almost takes the fun out of it
Yes,
sometimes.
It really does.
I
You
did
gotta
it
put
when I
everything
was
in
younger, but
perspective. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So basically, you guys are going to maintain your car right there at home,
Yep.
and that's going to be huge for you guys
Yes.
because this will be the first season where you can both shut the light switch off and go in the
Yeah.
house
Yeah.
at a reasonable
Yeah.
time
Yep.
and still spend
Exactly.
time together.
Yep.
So, what do you guys typically do when you're not at the track for a hobby? You guys just spend all the time at the track, don't you?
Yeah.
Or watching Lucas Oil TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got Lucas
Or
Oil
that.
Racing TV, and we watched East Bay all last week. And
My dad teased us last night.
Oh, yeah.
Logan
Yeah.
was like, well, I guess we need to go home. That race is on. My dad said, have you guys never watched a race before?
Right.
I was like, well, a few.
and I always tell him, not this one, Dave.
Did you guys
exactly.
did you guys see Bronson come off and smoke Davenport there on the
man.
shoe? That was
was
a bad
awful.
one. Yeah.
Yep.
I was talking to someone that was down there helping him, and they were like, "Oh man, it's back
can
clip,
imagine.
front clip," just named off a whole
There's
list of
no
things.
way. There's no way he even had time to let off.
No.
Yeah, it's just that
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. And that East Bay, I mean, this was actually the first year I actually watched it.
Yeah,
And that looks to be a pretty fast little
Yeah,
joint
it is.
for its size. I mean,
what I find interesting about it is how much it changes.
yes, I like
Yeah.
it
It's
goes with
crazy.
the tide.
Them guys are constantly
Yeah.
having to make adjustments.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yep.
So, where all do you guys plan on focusing at this coming season then? Are you guys pretty well going to be dedicated to a certain track, or are you going to just jump around?
I mean, I'd kind of like to try to bounce between Brownstown and Putnamville, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe go to a few others. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we
Just kind of do what we want, I guess.
yes,
This year.
we don't want to be, because I mean, we've
Stuck to-
pretty much, well, both of us. I mean, I've pretty much only been to Brownstown.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been to Thunder Valley and
Right.
been to Bloomington like 3 times and been to Florence, but other than
Bloomington too. I forgot.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was getting ready to bring up was Spiker taking over.
Mhm.
It looks
True.
like they got a pretty good schedule.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured your dad and yourself would be wanting to get the super stock up there, and I was kind of wondering if
Yeah.
Logan would be right there beside
Yeah,
you.
Oh,
he
yeah.
will.
Yeah. So that'd probably be a good place to
Oh,
go. It's
yeah.
close to home.
yes,
For sure.
It's great what they're doing. They're putting new stands in. They're getting
Yeah.
ready to put money and a lot of effort into
Yeah. Yep.
getting that place going again. And that's great because as soon as you start seeing a track that falls off on the
Yes.
schedule, people aren't going to lose interest in it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're only going to run a few shows a year for the big guys, I mean, it kills the fans that
Yes.
are
For sure.
dedicated to that track
Yep.
each and every weekend. And that's
Yep.
great to see that place getting back up to par.
Absolutely.
And I know for us, it's always been a good place to take the kids, like for firework
Yep.
night.
Yep.
I mean, I quit racing for many years, and we would still go on firework
Yep.
night.
Yeah.
It killed me to go because I can't hardly go to races and not
And
be
sit there and
driving.
watch, yeah.
It's tough, but yeah, that's great. And Of course, Putnamville, it's a fun track. You know, they've always done a good job up there. So you guys ran the super stock up there a little bit last season? Also,
so it was
or?
the season before last.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2 years ago. How many times did we go up there? 3 or 4?
3 or 4.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I didn't get much practice up there, but it's a lot different than Brownstown. I mean, you're driving that thing the whole time. I mean,
Right.
you're wheeling it.
Yeah.
It's not. You kind of got to get that in your head when you're there. It's not just the be patient and be calm. Brownstown. It's you got to wheel that thing.
Right.
I mean, it's a different.
It's
mindset
fun.
for sure.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I know we were going up there a lot with the super stock, and I always enjoyed it. I mean, we had some good nights. We had some bad nights.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, every once in a while when you got a lot of rain, no different than any other track, it seemed like that's when we'd be up there and it'd be rough. But they always do the best job they can to give you the best racing surface that they can. And they've done a heck of a job with Paragon. I mean, that place is really turned around. I mean,
we went and watched.
Yeah,
last
we
year.
went to the free night and
okay.
hung out with
was
Trent.
Boy, they
good.
packed the
We did.
stands, didn't
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah,
for sure.
We made the mistake of a guy I was working with was like, oh, you got to go to Tomato Pie there in Paragon before you go to the
they?
races.
Oh, okay. I've heard about that
Which
place.
is
Yeah.
really good.
It is really
It was
good.
really good.
But we got up there and,
We were kind of late getting there.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you live with Aubrey, you learn to get there right at the time that you need to be there.
Okay.
But
Not late. Just
Not late.
Just right on
not
time.
yes, right on
Not
time.
early.
Well, you guys got here today right on time.
we did,
so
yeah.
We
I'll
did.
give you that.
And it was like an hour and a half wait for a pizza.
Oh, wow.
And we
And
waited.
we
Yeah.
waited. So when we got to Paragon and we looked up on that hill and it was like,
Everybody was eating pizza.
Well,
yeah. yeah, and it was
it
just
was funny
packed.
because we started up that hill, and what were the odds that we would see Trent Nicholas?
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, come sit with
He had
us."
plenty
I
of
was
room.
like,
Yep.
Yes.
Probably him and Scoob.
Oh
Yeah.
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 Oh
Yep.
yeah. And
Yep.
Leon was there.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's good.
Yes, it was. That was sad when we heard that he passed.
Yeah.
He man, he was a heck of a cook. I don't know
Yeah.
if you ever got to
I never
eat.
did,
Oh,
but that's
man.
that's one thing that I've noticed a lot of people say about Leon.
Man.
That was definitely a good last memory. Of
It
him.
was.
Yeah,
We got
that's
to hang
good.
out with him, and he handed a whole aluminum pan of chicken to me.
Yeah.
And
Probably
said,
hot.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
he said, "Eat it up," and I was just like, man. But yeah, he always the chicken. He always said that he put Jordan's used motor oil in
Yeah.
it. That's what he called the sauce, and it was good. But
Yeah.
that was a good last memory that we had with
That's
Leon.
good.
Yep.
That's great. He was always a big part of, the racing community. Everybody knew him.
Definitely a race
mean,
fan.
Oh,
For sure.
Yeah.
Die-hard race fan.
Die hard. Yep. And he was a die hard Jordan Kinzer fan. and
Right.
He wasn't afraid to tell you.
Yep. Yeah, you
That's,
can't blame him. I mean,
no.
when you watch Jordan drive,
For sure.
I mean, he's definitely very good in the
He's a
sprint
wheel man.
cars, and
He is.
I've always been impressed with him.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you watch him, and I don't, I feel like if, you put him against some of them guys that even have the absolute best equipment out there, he can still put it
He'll
on them.
still-
Yes.
And it's
exactly.
awesome
Yep.
because when
Yep.
you watch a local driver,
Do that.
yeah, it's
I
just
mean, that's-
incredible.
That's talent.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's awesome to watch, like him and Brady Short go at it.
Oh, yeah.
Because they'll run each other so
Yep.
hard.
Yep.
And sometimes it's in, Brady's cars.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's when, I'm like, man, this is great
Yep.
because you watch, two guys that are going hard at it that are
Yep.
really tight.
Mm-hmm.
And they both put on a heck of a performance
Yes.
every time,
sure.
whether it's the No Way Out 40 or they're at Paragon or wherever. I mean, they're
Yep.
both top notch.
Yep.
So, we've all watched a lot of sprint car drivers around here
Yep.
that are local, Kevin Briscoe. And
Oh yeah.
look at Chase and
Yep.
then, the Kinzers. And
Oh yeah.
it's pretty cool that they're all right here real close
Yeah.
to home. And
Yep.
it's pretty neat to see what all Chase has been able to overcome. And
Yep.
really, he's put himself on the map. I
Yeah.
mean,
He has.
he's incredible too. So I was going to ask you guys what track you felt like was the most challenging track that you race at.
I think we would both agree. I'm going to say Brownstown.
Yeah, for sure.
It is.
That track
It's taken
is.
years.
Yeah, to get on top.
Man.
Aubrey can. I try to take notes from her because she gets around there pretty good.
Yes, she does.
And but I've never. I don't know if she's not sharing the same notes with me
Yeah.
a lot, but
Right.
I've had a lot of help from some good people.
Yeah.
so
Right.
yeah,
That's, yeah.
might as well call them
A
out.
big key to success, isn't it?
Yeah,
When you have guys
yeah.
that have the knowledge to help, it
For
makes
sure.
a difference.
So Tyler and Alan Kane,
Yeah.
Mike Fields, of course, you guys, you and my dad, for
Yeah,
sure.
right.
I mean, you helped me out a ton.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then TSR, Todd Snyder.
Yeah. And that's the chassis that you
was-
guys are still going to be running
Yep.
this coming season.
Yep, same chassis.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's when I started
Really.
kind of figuring things out.
Yeah.
Yep, and seeing improvement and building on things.
Right.
But yeah, those guys.
Well,
helped me a
and you
ton.
got your first win at Brownstown, is that
Yep.
correct? Yeah.
Yep.
So to be able to get a win at Brownstown, some of these guys around here have raced for years and years and years and still ain't got it done, or you've went out and you've done it, and to be able to do that, I'm sure like your whole family was just so excited. But were you there, Logan, that night? Yeah.
Yep.
So
I was in.
pretty emotional, I'm sure, to
I
be able
was,
to see her.
Well, I was actually in the lineup shoot.
Okay.
My race was right after hers.
Yeah.
And so basically, I kept telling them, I said, somebody's got to come get me.
Yeah.
And if she wins, because you started front row or
Yeah.
something, and every caution, I was listening for the race on the race receiver to see
Okay.
where she was at. Well, the whole race, they never said her number. They would just say 37, high or low. So I was like, well, Heyman's in second. And I never heard her number, so I was like, she's leading it.
Okay.
And then when I seen the white flag
You
and
see a spoiler.
coming to the, I could see her I could see her spoiler.
Yeah, because
And,
it's tough when you're sitting in the
is.
lineup
It
shoot to
is.
be able to see.
Yep.
And especially since they put a little more,
More
banking,
banking, yeah.
it's even harder if they
Right.
don't come all the way out. You know
Right.
what I mean? And,
Yep.
but coming to the checkered, I had a pretty good idea who won.
Yeah.
Because everybody in the stands was, I mean, they were
Right. Everybody
and
was
hollering
extremely
and-
excited.
Yes, and
Well, and we had a lot of top fives that year.
Yes.
Top threes.
consistent.
And
Right.
we just kept saying, when
We
is
gotta
this
get
gonna
this
win.
happen? Yes. Sometimes it's like the stars have to align or
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
It's
And
the way you feel anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
sitting there, and then I'm like, man, I'm trying to get the lady in the lineup shoot. I'm trying to get her attention, you know,
Mhm.
and
Find out for sure.
yeah, and Jamie Schaefer comes on
Okay.
the race receiver and says, 50, you can go ahead and pull out there.
Nice.
And so,
That's when you knew.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like, man, that's awesome.
That's great.
But yeah, it was very rewarding because I
Yeah.
mean, I've said all along I'd give up my racing career to help
Yeah.
let her pursue hers, and I'm behind her 110%.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So you guys pretty much just trying to think where I was going with that. Basically, you get to win, and you're out there on the track. Everybody gets their picture. Now you got to get strapped in
Yeah.
for your car.
Yeah.
So you're getting ready to go out. And now you're so pumped up
Oh,
about
yeah.
her win. I'm sure
Yeah.
you're like distraught. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and
tough to have a game plan, jumping
Yeah.
back in the
That.
car. You know you're under
Exactly.
pressure because you got
Yep.
19 guys waiting in the lineup shoot to fire.
Exactly. Yep.
So now you're getting strapped in. So how was your night that night after that? Were you like, you can blame Aubrey now, like it was all her
Yeah.
fault that I ran 10th?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you where I finished.
Okay.
In all
Didn't
honesty.
matter, did it?
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
That
You could have loaded up right then and been
Exactly.
happy.
Yep.
That was a win for everyone.
yes,
Right.
it was. That was much
Everyone that helps out.
Yeah.
For sure.
much needed.
That's
I mean,
great.
Yes.
because we were
Yeah.
going to the races every week with Aub.
Yeah.
I mean, I pretty
You
much
were more dedicated for her
I was
than
I mean,
yourself.
Yes,
Right.
I had a lot of fun just going
Right.
with her and Dave.
Yeah.
I mean, and helping her through the week. I was shortchanging my stuff just so
Right.
I
Pretty
knew
much.
that
Yeah.
I knew that her car. I mean, Dave, he gave me some responsibilities. And
Right.
You kind of turned into our tire guy.
I did.
There you go.
And
I
so
think I remember your dad actually telling me that
Yeah.
one
Oh, yeah.
night. Yeah.
Yeah.
yep, nobody touched the tires
Yeah.
but me. So
That's cool. That's great.
Which is fine with me.
Yeah, nobody wants to mess with the
No.
tires anyways.
I actually enjoyed doing it. I
Yeah.
enjoyed cutting and grooving our late model tires. My
Yeah.
dad always called me crazy, and
Right.
It's kind of soothing.
it was.
kind of
It
a-
was.
It is.
Yeah.
It was.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
As long as you got the time to do it.
Yes,
then it is.
exactly.
It's kind of like
Yep.
mowing a
Sure.
yard. You
Yeah.
just kind of, your brain just kind of shuts down.
Yep.
You
Yep.
kind of concentrate on
Exactly.
what's in front of
Yep.
you.
Kind of relaxing.
It is, yeah.
Mhm.
Like for me, I know a lot of times, I try to think of like things that you might be able to do on race day to kind of get your mind kind of
Yeah.
calm
Kinda
down,
ease,
take the
yeah.
edge
Yep.
off. And there for a little bit, it was like I used to try to mow the yard.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I don't even have time to mow my
I
own yard. My
guarantee
wife
it.
actually does it,
I
so
bet.
shout out to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I can definitely understand the taking care of the tires.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
so,
Huge help.
so you guys, when you guys go to the track, you guys are always parked next to each other when you take both cars, which makes it nice, so that everybody's there as a big family,
Yep.
and
For sure.
that's great that your dads get along so well.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys have, basically been able to become one family now.
Yeah.
So getting
Yep.
used to signing those autographs has got to be a chore now.
That was a little difficult, but it was nice because at work, that's what I do
Okay.
daily. So
Yeah.
I'm really good at my signature now.
Well, there you go.
Got it.
It
Got
was.
it down.
It was funny there for a while watching her rewrite it.
Try to get used to
Yeah.
it.
And
Yeah.
I'd never really thought about that, and it wasn't like too long before our wedding. I was like, Logan, I don't even know how to write your last name. Like I don't even know how to sign it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I practiced a little bit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Something that you never really think about, I guess.
No. Yeah.
So, Logan, when you're running a modified and, before you joined Team Diamond, who would you go to for advice on the modified setups? Was there anybody that kind of helped you guys out with that? Because I'm trying to think, like with your dad and your uncle, they pretty well ran late models for
Yeah,
all
that
those
was-
years, and it's a big,
It is, and
It's a big difference. Yeah.
basically, I mean, the rear points they could base a lot off of a late model being 4-bar, but the front suspension couldn't really do that. But Brad Irwin built the car, and Jeremy Owens had the same type of car,
okay.
and so we went and started talking with them, and
Yeah. Bouncing ideas off of, or
Yes,
kind of just
and-
giving them some feedback and then seeing where they could guide you.
And we actually ended up what would work with Jeremy's car, it wouldn't work with
Oh,
mine.
okay.
And so me and Dad just kind of started
Two
trying.
different driving styles,
It
perhaps
was,
sometimes,
and,
and that can.
It could have been bigger motor, littler motor. I
Yeah.
mean, you know what I mean.
Lot of different-
lot of
All
different.
kinds
Yeah.
of things, yeah.
And so we actually just kind of started rolling with our own.
Yeah.
And but we just never could quite get the handle on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Well, it's going to be a huge help having as many different drivers that are driving the Diamond
Yes.
cars now, especially if you're going to be at Brownstown. You're going to be able to have such a larger group of guys to communicate to, and I
Yep.
know that it's got to be a strong information group because everybody wants to succeed.
yes.
And if
exactly.
you got 5 diamonds out there and
Yep.
3 of them are top 5, then
Yep.
everybody's winning that way.
Yep.
And that's cool. So I'm sure you guys will have a lot of help this season.
Yeah.
And then Aubrey, you guys have pretty well got your A game on strong.
I
so
hope so. I hope I still
I'm
got
assuming
it
you guys are
this
going to
year.
be ready to go out and fire off great and
Yeah.
try to get a win right out of the gate.
I hope so. We're not gonna hit it as soon as they start.
Okay.
racing.
No.
Gonna wait
We're
till it warms up a
kinda-
little.
Yeah.
So we're
we,
not going to
uh,
be at the icebreaker.
Probably not gonna be the icebreaker.
Be there watching probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys are pretty diehard fans as
Yes.
well. So
For
if you're
sure.
not racing and there's a big show somewhere, you guys, like, I know you guys have went down to the north-south race
yeah.
and travel around,
Yep.
go to Eldora and watch.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so what's the farthest track you guys have ever actually went to just to watch a race?
To watch, either Eldora or Fairbury.
Yeah,
Fairbury's a pretty.
It was pretty neat.
I bet. I've only seen videos. I've never been there.
You
You-
should
so.
definitely
gotta
try
go.
to go.
Yeah.
Sometime.
It'd be
If
cool.
if you don't want to race one weekend,
Right.
their local shows are even top
Spectacular.
notch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that whole facility over there. We went for the PDC, the Prairie Dirt Classic.
Okay.
And I even got my dad to go.
Okay.
And so it was me, Aub, Dave, my dad, and Allie. Right?
Okay.
And my man.
And then,
Papa,
yep, her mama
Yep.
and Papa went with us.
Diehard racers.
They are.
Yes.
They are.
And
Yeah.
I got 10 tickets, and how many was there? 7 of us?
I think so.
9 of us?
Yeah, whatever.
Packed in there like sardines. And
Oh,
we
man.
it was bad.
Yeah.
And we were like,
The hottest weekend I've ever
Yes.
experienced, honestly, I think.
it was very hot.
Yeah.
And we were like 4 rows up from the fence, and we'd never been here before. And when we got there Thursday night, one of the nights, we're sitting there watching practice. So I think it was a Thursday night or something, and we're all hanging out except for my dad. And I'm like, where is my dad at?
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell her, I was like, I'm gonna go try to find him.
Yeah.
Just make sure he's all right. And we ain't seen him since we got here. And he's down there on T-shirt row, and it's funny. He's double fisting beers. I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? He's like, 25-ounce cans, and he's in heaven because they're only like $2.
Oh, wow.
And he's trying to find a koozie.
Okay.
He's going down T-shirt row asking for somebody if they have a koozie that'll fit this can. And,
Right.
and he's like, don't you worry about me.
Yeah.
I'll come up there when
Oh,
I
good.
watch these
Just having
races.
a good time.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yep, but
Okay,
We-
but the funniest part was the mud that got thrown on
man.
us.
Oh, I bet.
And it was like potting soil.
yes.
I mean, it was like super black.
I
They
see.
had
like really fine.
Yeah, and they had the catch fence, of course, just
Like
your
right
regular
in front
fence.
of us.
Mhm.
Then they had a bunch of wire mesh.
Trying to help
Trying to-
catch it.
Break it up.
Yeah.
That Saturday
There were-
night,
There were
Just
dirt
covered.
balls.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
this
we
big
were
around.
we were glad to be sitting where we were at
Yeah.
because the
Up
people
above you,
us.
we're getting hit with clods.
Smoked
Clods.
with them, and it was
Yeah.
the funniest thing.
It's
And
crazy.
this one guy, I mean, I'm telling you, Levi, this thing
I believe it.
It was
was
huge.
huge, and we watched it. And this guy was talking to his buddy on the top row. They're
Just
sitting there
having a
just having a conversation, and this dirt clod hits him right in the
Knocked the
chest.
It
air
was
out
one
of
of
him.
those where everybody just
Everybody's
like,
watching.
Yes.
follows it.
Yeah.
Where's it
Yes.
going? And it
Right.
hit this guy, and he looked at his buddy, and you could read his lips. He said
Said a few choice
he said
words.
a few choice
Yeah.
words, and we busted out laughing because we couldn't
Oh.
even. That stuff was going to that fence. We couldn't even watch the
For
races.
like the first 30 minutes that we were there,
We
that
were-
was what we were focused
Yeah.
on. 'Cause it's
Seeing who was going to get
hilarious.
hit.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh man, it was
But-
funny.
And the atmosphere was just awesome there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Everybody was glad to be there.
yes.
Yeah.
And everybody, I mean, they could point out the strangers
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they would come up to you and first time.
Hey, you're in so-and-so seat.
No, they were nice about that. They were just
Yeah.
like, you've never been here before, have you?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and they just kind of welcomed you.
Well, that's
And-
cool.
Everybody was,
was,
really friendly.
Yes.
That's one thing great about the sport is
Yes.
how much it really don't matter how far you travel, whether you're going 4 or 5 hours
Yes.
away. It seems
Yeah.
like everybody's always helpful.
Yep.
And we went to Eldora last summer, had a great trip,
Oh,
and that place is phenomenal.
Yes.
The
For
way they got
sure.
it together. Hobstadt, same deal.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's so many great tracks. We're
Oh,
very
yeah.
fortunate to have so many different places that you can go close, but then
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you go outside of that circle and it's
They're still.
it's still it just keeps getting to where you've just got a lot of great places to run
Mm-hmm.
and
yeah.
in this sport it's nice to have that
Yep.
to be able to go somewhere. You get rained out here, if you want to drive 3 or 4 hours away
Yep.
and hit a
Yep.
race, you
can.
can. So that's what's great about it.
Yep.
I know it's sometimes last minute decisions.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
For sure.
everybody's like, well, you
Little
really want to
hectic.
do that?
Yeah.
Well, we got to change a gear or
Yep.
Yeah.
figure out a setup to try, but
Oh, yeah.
let's
Yep.
do it.
It's worth
Yep,
it.
it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you just never know if you don't do it.
Yeah,
That's-
and sometimes that's when you make the best memories.
Exactly.
I
For
mean,
sure.
I've
Yep.
got memories as a kid packing up with, my dad and Matt Becks, Bubba Woods. Them guys used to go with me
Oh,
when
yeah.
I ran modifieds when I was 16. And we'd go travel down to Kentucky and hit a track, leave from there on a Friday night, go somewhere Saturday race,
Yep.
leave from Saturday and go down to Hopstad on Sunday. They used to run on Sundays.
yeah.
We'd do 2 or 3 day deals back to back, depending on, how bad I
Oh,
tore the
yeah.
car up or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, and
But
that's good
that's
seat
the
time
kind of stuff.
too.
Oh,
Yep.
it
I mean, that's
was.
what you need.
I was very fortunate to be able to get
Yep.
a lot of different tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I wish it showed today that I had that experience when I was younger, but I'm learning it all over again. People
I
say it's like a
bet.
bicycle, but I'm still trying
Yeah.
to figure it
It
out.
is,
I feel
though,
like you're
yeah.
always learning.
Yes.
And,
sure.
and the way the competition's so stiff and the divisions that we all run in,
Yes.
everybody's
Yeah.
always improving their game,
Yep.
and they're always getting more seat
yeah.
time. Some
For
guys
sure.
are running a lot more shows. Some guys aren't as fortunate and run 10 or 12.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
you guys probably ran a pretty good amount of shows in the super stock last year as far as
So last year, it was more limited. We
just time.
Yep.
time and money.
Well, you
and
took one Saturday and dedicated it towards getting married. So
True.
there's one race
so there
out.
was- Yes, and the rainouts definitely helped us
Yeah.
last spring.
Yeah, I didn't miss a whole
We
lot.
didn't miss a
Yeah.
whole lot, so that was good. But yeah, we just bought a house for my grandparents.
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
The
were
month of
kinda
May
focused on
was
that.
really,
That was hectic.
it was hectic.
I
Yeah.
graduated from college too that month.
Yep. And then the next weekend, we got married. And
Yeah.
then the next weekend, we bought a house.
We closed on our house.
Yep,
yeah.
closed
Wow.
on the house. And Allie also graduated high school
Yes.
Yeah.
the same day.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
and then
A lot of big events.
For
yes,
sure.
Back
it
to
was.
back.
Last
Yep.
year was a big year.
Yeah.
It was.
It's good.
Well, that's good that
Yep.
you guys were able to do all that and
Yep.
and still be able to go have fun racing
sure.
and travel and do what you guys love to do. I mean,
Yep.
clearly you're both diehard fans and
Oh, yeah.
drivers,
Yep.
and it's cool to be able to sit down and talk to you guys. And
Yep.
I learned more about both of you tonight.
For
and
sure.
It's great having you guys over here. So,
Yeah.
what would you guys say is your favorite racing movie? You guys don't have one, do you? I figured both of you being around the
So,
sport for
okay.
as many years, you guys would have something.
One that's
Oh.
definitely not our favorite is the one.
The new
was it?
one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
actually
I
fell
know what you're
asleep
talking
on that
about.
one, and Logan was like, "Dude,
I'm
that
trying to
was
think
so
who it even
cheesy."
has.
John
Travolta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trading Pain or
Yeah,
something.
they could
Just
probably use
wasn't
some more
really-
pointers around the
Yeah.
dirt world.
Yeah.
They
'Cause-
tried, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
needed a little
It's
more
hard.
support.
It's
yeah.
hard unless you.
They should have went and followed the Lucas Oil
sure.
series for about
Yes.
6 months.
Yes.
Probably
Yeah.
got a little more cameras and
for sure.
yeah, their shields didn't have any dirt on them.
No, yeah. Yeah, and the motor sound was off. And,
Yeah.
You know, you notice them things being
Right.
around it.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I gotta say, I figured she would say it, but my all-time favorite and not cheesy, it is probably the best racing movie is I gotta say Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
for them to do all that and
Yeah.
for it to be
Still today, everybody
Yeah.
uses everything
Yeah.
on that movie.
Exactly.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone here at this shop does it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So constantly walking around the car saying something to
Yep,
it.
I bet.
exactly. Yep. And another one that I'd say is pretty good is Six Pack.
Yeah,
I mean, that's-
Six Pack is definitely my
Classic.
favorite
Yeah.
classic movie. I mean, I have no idea how many times I've watched
Oh,
it,
yeah.
but a lot.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good one.
What's yours, Al?
She's
Probably
like
Days
probably Days of
If we
Thunder.
have to go with a racing movie,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, what
Yeah.
about favorite track food?
Oh man.
Go ahead.
Eldora.
Eldora.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yes.
cheeseburger or
Yes.
what is it? The pizza
The
burger.
pizza burger.
Man,
And
everybody
the-
says that.
And the cheese balls.
Cheese balls.
Cheese balls.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They got some
Okay.
jalapeno cheese balls.
Okay, but
Oh, yeah.
Salem Speedway mini corn dogs.
Yeah.
Mini corn dogs.
It's been my favorite since I was a little kid. So
That's
And-
great.
Can't forget that one.
I have to give a shout out to Hobstadt. Their blackened
True.
chicken sandwiches are awesome.
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
I can't even think if I even have ever even had track food from Hobstadt.
Really?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's like, I don't know, it's something about that drive, and it seems like we'll stop at a gas station, get a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff, and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then when you get to
Stop at
racing, it's hard to.
Denny's at 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, it's funny to think about track food.
Oh
but
yeah.
We're
Seems
food
like you
people
guys brought your
anyways.
track food game on strong
Hey,
here
we-
over the years.
We
We're food people.
yeah,
for
we
sure.
we love to eat. That's our other
Yes.
hobby when we're not racing. And
That's
but
great.
yeah, we pretty much we kind of judge a track that we go to off of their track
Off
food.
the food, yeah. So
Too
you
good
hear
at
that, promoters? We got to have good track food at
Yes.
Bloomington to
For
get these guys
Yep.
up there this
I mean-
season.
Yes, no kidding.
We love food.
Yeah.
We'll definitely buy some. So,
Right.
but
Well, the tracks have to make a good amount off the food.
Yeah.
For
As
sure,
far as,
yeah.
it's tough to pay the purses and
it is.
insurance and
Yeah.
all the upkeep.
Yep.
I
I couldn't
mean,
imagine.
oh my. Well, I think that pretty well sums up all my questions for you guys. I'm really glad you guys took the time out of your evening to stop by.
Heck yeah.
And it's been fun. We'll have to get you guys in here sometime during mid-season.
Yeah.
Sounds
Kind of get a
good.
rundown on how the season's going for you and
Yep.
the expectations of finishing out the season for sure.
Yep.
So I think we'll wrap this up. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for
Thanks for having
us.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well, that concludes another episode of Off the Track, where you get the dirt. I'm Levi Gotze. If you have not already liked us on Facebook, please be sure and check out our page and give us a like. You can also tune in next Wednesday for another episode. Check us out on bluechiptech.net or give us a call at 812-807-7050. Thank you and have a great evening.